So guys, in today's video I'm going to go over what is a CHoCH, and all CHoCH stands for is change of character. And you know, some people get confused when it comes to CHoCH because they think it is a break of structure. It can be a break of structure, but a lot of times it won't be, and it'll just be a taking of the low, taking of the high, or vice versa. So what CHoCH is, and if you get to know this and you get to learn this and you go ahead and practice it on your charts, it's a really powerful concept in order to use with your entry model. So I'll just go ahead and just draw a little bit of a diagram on screen at the moment. So what CHoCH is for example, if we are, let me just turn the magnet tool off. If we are coming up like this and we're making high highs and higher lows, what CHoCH is if you take the high, take the low, and for example, you take this. So this is, I mark the up, so that would be a CHoCH up. And I also mark the CHoCH down. So this one here is what you would consider a CHoCH and a change of character. So CHoCH down. So you're trending upwards, you come up, you come down, you take the high, and then you take the low, making this the change of character. And this is the first sign of bearish intentions, or obviously if it's the other way around, it would be bullish. But like I said before, you don't have to mark the CHoCH up, so you can just totally disregard that. But for me, I like to mark the CHoCH up and the CHoCH down just to know, just keep it a little bit more simple. So the idea of a CHoCH is that you will get a take of the high, a take of the low, and with this take of the low and a break of structure, this is when it would form a supply or demand zone. And then what you would look to do is you would obviously look to trade back into this before taking a short, or the other way around, obviously you would be taking a long. But this is the premise and the whole idea behind the change of character. You know, it's a little bit harder to spot on the live charts, but I'll go on and I'll give you a couple of examples so you can go on and then you can practice it for yourself. But like I said before guys, if you get to know this and you start to learn this and you practice it yourself on your own charts, the change of character is a really powerful tool in order to have in your entry model, and it's something that I personally look for when taking entries. And it's something, you know, people look for within Phantom and a lot of communities that are around. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go on to the chart and I'll show you a couple of live examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and look for a couple of examples. So as you can see, we're on GBP USD 15-minute chart. And what I'm going to do now is, so as you can see right here, right, if I just put the magnet tool back on, as you can see right here, we've got a lovely demand zone. So if I just drag this out, as you can see at this moment in time we don't get a change of character, but this is where people then drop onto the lower time frame. So if I just cut price here actually, so if I just cut price right here, and then what I'll do is I'll drop down onto the 1 minute time frame, which would be my entry time frame, and see if there is a change of character. So if I zoom in, as you can see we've come down, we've had a pullback, we've then broke that low, and then we've had a pullback again. So this would be our CHoCH low. So you would mark that as a change of character, so a CHoCH down. And then as you can see, we come down, we don't break this low. What we actually do then is we come back up and break this high. So this high here, so if I just, you know, this high here is the high that put in this low. So this is the high that we want to see go in order to complete our change of character. So if we just take our CHoCH up line, marking our CHoCH up, so a CHoCH up, and then as you can see, once we have had this change of character and the break to the upside, what has that now done? It's gone ahead and it's left this demand zone right here, and then as you can see, what has price then done? It's come back down, traded into this demand zone, and then it's continued up in the, obviously the bullish direction. So what you could have done is you could have, obviously, you could have entered at the 50%, you could have entered at the open. So for example here, if I entered at the 50% of this order block here, you would get a really tight stop. So you could have a two pip stop, and then you could target somewhere obviously up here. And then as you can see, that's how you would enter a trade by using the change of character. So if you just play price forward a little bit, as you can see, price carries on trading up, and even there, that would be a minimum of a 10-hour trade. So that's one example of the change of character. So if I just come back out now and I'll show you a couple more examples, because like I said guys, once you get the hang of this and you know, once you start seeing this, once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it basically. So if I go back and I'll just find another example. So we're on the 1 minute chart here. So if I go back to the 15 minute, go back to the 15 minutes, and then what I will do actually, I'll show you the example that I did on a trade recap. So as you can see, this would be the move that then exploded to the upside. So you could have targeted these highs, and you know, the risk to reward would have been absolutely huge. So then we have got this demand zone. We then traded into it, got a change of character, which then allowed us to get into a trade to take it to the upside. And then as you can see now, we are forming a demand chain. And then again, we tap in to our demand right here. So if I just pull back price a little bit, what you'll find is if we drop back down to the 1 minute, so if you were entering on the 1 minute time frame, this is what you would be looking for. So if I zoom in again, as you can see, we come down, we pull back, we then break the low, but we don't break the high before we break this low. What we do, again, we break the low and then tap into the demand zone. So this right here would be our CHoCH down. So a CHoCH down, and then what you need to look for is where is the eye that put in the low. So for me, you know, there's a little bit of discretion around this, I suppose, but for me personally, I would choose this high right here. So this bullish candle right here is the eye that put in this low and caused obviously the down move. So what I was looking for then is a change of character. So I needed to see a break of this high. So a CHoCH up, and then this is where it's a little bit different. So what I was looking for on this trade specifically, as you can see, this demand zone would be, you know, absolutely massive. So you wouldn't trade off this because the pip stop loss would be absolutely huge. So what you need to look for is you need to look for other confluences and other requirements in order to take this trade. So you can go back and you can watch the previous trade recap that I did, because I did actually take this trade live. And what I did is I seen it come up and then waited for a sweep of the low. So what I did is I waited for a sweep, I then waited for a failure of the supply and a respect of the demand, and then this is what gave me confidence to get involved right here. So entered on the sweep wick, and then again entered in with a 2 pip stop. So a 2 pip stop, and then as you can see, what will happen is that price will run to the upside. So this is the whole idea around the change of character. What the change of character is the first sign of, in this case, a bullish trend change. And obviously, if it was coming to the upside, can I find one around? So here, for example, so this would be the first sign of a bearish trend change, so a CHoCH up. And then where is the low that put in this high? It would be this bearish candle right here. As you can see, this bearish candle is then taken. Price then comes back up and trades into this supply zone. And then you could have taken a trade in order to, you know, target somewhere down here. So yeah, that's pretty much the video, guys. The change of character is really powerful, like I did mention in the start of this video. What I recommend is going on and, you know, practicing this. What I would do is I would stay away from change of characters on, you know, anything above the 1 hour time frame. They're really useful to use on the 15 minute. They can be used in a confluence, you know, to spot supply and demand and things like that. But I can go in and do a video, you know, explaining that a little bit further at a later date. So again, just to recap, what you need is if you're coming up, and then you have a little stop here. You come up, you take the high, you take the low, a CHoCH up. So this would be a CHoCH up, and then that would be a CHoCH down. As soon as we take this low right here, this is when the CHoCH would be complete. You would then look for a demand or supply zone, depending on which way you are going. You would then look for a trade back into this, so a trade back into this, and then a continuation downwards. So yeah, that's just about it for this video, guys. Like I said, go ahead, practice this, because once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. And then when you're on your chart, you'll be able to, you know, see it and, you know, spot it anytime you like. So it's a really useful tool to have as well to add to your trade plan and into your entry criteria. So if this video did help you out, guys, I would appreciate it if you could, you know, drop a like on today's video. It's free to just drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. And yeah, if you have any other suggestions for videos, etc. that you want to see, please drop them in the comments down below. And without further ado, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.